Respected Madam, Dr. Padmavati, Dr. Michelle Henry, my friend Dr. Hiramar, and friends. As you have just seen, the most dreaded complication of deep venous thrombosis is pulmonary embolism. And most of the patients with deep venous thrombosis are treated with the help of anticoagulation and thrombolytic therapy. But despite that, the number of patients die of pulmonary embolism despite anticoagulation and thrombolytic therapy. So the option of inferior vena, the option of filters should always be there, particularly in patients who have contraindications to anticoagulation, who are at bleeding diathesis, where you can't use anticoagulation and thrombolytic therapy. So in this brief presentation, I shall be discussing on the indications of IVC filters, which filters to use, the preferred site of placement of these filters, and whether anticoagulation should be given after placement of filters or not, and when to retrieve an optional filter, and the complications of placing IVC filter, because the IVC filters are not as innocuous. They are easy to implant, but the follow-up is very important. The late complications are also important in these subset of patients. So the decision of placing IVC filter is very important, and how these patients should be followed up on long term. Just to illustrate this point that these IVC filters are not innocuous, this study showed that one subgroup of patients were given the filters, while other subgroup were given only anticoagulation therapy. While the incidence of pulmonary embolism was lower in patients who were given filters, the recurrence of DVT was higher in patients who were given filters. 20% of these patients with IVC filters had a recurrence of DVT, as compared to only 11% with anticoagulation alone. This point is important to remember. And major bleeding was also slightly higher in patients who were given anticoagulation, but there was no change in the incidence of death in these two subgroup of patients. So the decision to place an IVC filter is a carefully considered decision. Who should be given an IVC filters? Particularly patients who are contraindication to anticoagulant therapy, that is patient with recent surgery, hemorrhagic stroke, active internal bleed, patient with polytrauma, patient on ventilators, patient with intracranial neoplasm, patient with bleeding diathesis, and patient on the last 2 weeks of pregnancy with DVT. These require placement of IVC filters. Patient with contraindication, with complications of anticoagulation therapy, free-floating iliofemoral thrombus, and IVC thrombosis, patient who are on anticoagulation but are contraindication to anticoagulant therapy should be given IVC filters. Then failure of anticoagulation therapy, that despite anticoagulation therapy, patient is developing recurrent pulmonary embolism, and there is extension of deep vein thrombosis while the patient is on anticoagulant therapy, and there is development of deep vein thrombosis. So these are the subset who should be considered for IVC filter placement. But majority of patients now, the temporary filters are there, which can be retrieved. Nowadays, these are coming into vogue, that due to problems with permanent filters, more and more the optional filters are being placed, particularly in patients who are undergoing major surgery and patient develop deep vein thrombosis. So temporary filters are placed, which can be retrieved later on, so as to prevent the development of late complications which are existent with the permanent filters. Patient on prolonged mechanical ventilation, patient with head injury or spinal trauma or polytrauma patients are also candidates for optional filter placement. Patients with thrombus between the venous access site and expected site of deployment. Expected site of deployment is below the renal veins. So if that site is loaded with thrombus, then these patients are contraindication to IVC filter placement. If the IVC is fully filled up with thrombus also, then these patients are not good candidates for placement of IVC filters. Patients with septicemia and bacteremia are also in contraindication for placement of IVC filters. So which filters should be placed? There are large variety of filters in market today. The ideal filter should trap most of the thrombi. It cannot trap all the thrombi. Despite placement of IVC filters, about 5% of patients develop pulmonary embolism. The filter should be non-thrombogenic, should be durable and non-corrosive. They should be able to be delivered through a low-profile system and should not migrate after deployment. There has been some incidence of migration. The filters can migrate into right atrium and even go into right ventricle. So these should have sufficient mechanism so they do not migrate. Non-ferromagnetic IVC filters are now available which allow MRI to be performed after its placement. And best would be to have a retrievable filter in situations where these situations are temporary and where you can avoid the placement of permanent filters. Nowadays, most of the filters available have few of these properties, but not all of the filters are not. These filters are not ideal. The filters available are stainless steel filter, the Greenfield filter, which has been there for decades together now, the titanium Greenfield filter, which was introduced, then Ventec devices, the bird's nest filter. Bird's nest filter is ideal in situation when the IVC is large. Most of these filters can be placed in IVC of up till 30 millimeters diameter, but bird's nest filter can be placed in IVC of up till 40 millimeter diameter. For whenever there is a large IVC and there is thrombus and you have to place a filter across, then bird's nest filter is the filter that can be placed in these large 40 millimeter diameter IVCs. The retrievable filters, they are available now. They have that is Opti-Ease, the Gunther Tulip filter devices are available. These are various types of filters that are available. This is the bird's nest filter which has been available for decades now. This is a large diameter filter. The trapeze filter, the Siemens nitinol filter has also been there for decades together, and the Greenfield filter. These filters are easy to deploy, but during deployment, initial the venogram and should be done to locate the size of the renal veins, and the filter should be placed below the renal veins. If you place the filter above the renal veins, then the thrombus can get occluded and can occlude the renal veins and cause these patients can go into renal failure. So it is important to place these filters below the renal veins most of the times. But these filters are placed to 9 to 14 French introducers are required for these filters and can be easily placed across the site after identification of the vena cava and the renal veins. The retrievable filters are similar to permanent filters, but they have hooks so that you can snare these out once these devices have fulfilled their utility. But they cannot be placed for too long. Generally, up to about 2 weeks of filter placement is permissible. But the filters have been retraced after even 1 month. But most of the time, endothelialization starts and the risk of retrievement is higher as you exceed 2 weeks time limit. So these patients who are who had temporary contraindications to anticoagulation, like the patient who has undergone surgery, patient with polytrauma, these are the candidates who should be given temporary filters, and these can be easily retrieved through the sheath. And the sheath size is also smaller in these retrievable filters. The commonest indication for retrievable filters are patients with polytrauma, patients who are undergone neurological surgery, and a patient who are pregnancy in last 2 weeks of pregnancy, they develop deep vein thrombosis. So there also these filters are of immense use. A recent study in British Journal of Obstetric Gynecology, because the experience with these filter placement is limited. So a study in 2008 of 12 filters placed in IVC in patients who had in pregnancy showed that there were no problems in placement of these temporary filters and continuation of pregnancy in these subgroup of patients. How to do implantation? Most common technique is to under fluoroscopy. As I said, do a venogram. I locate the site of the femoral vein and implant the filters below these renal veins. But sometimes one has to do bedside placement of these filters. Then duplex ultrasound or intravascular ultrasound may be used for the placement of these filters. As I said, most of the filters are placed in the inferior vena cava, in the infrarenal portion. But sometimes when the inferior vena cava is off up till even the renal vein is filled up, and you are certain that you have to require a filter, so a suprarenal placement can also be done. A recent study in Journal of Vascular Intervention Radiology 2008 showed that on follow-up, on 20 years follow-up in this subgroup patient, these patients who were given anticoagulation can be placed, suprarenal filters can also be placed in these patients. Most of these patients are given inferior vena cava filters, but sometimes superior vena cava filters are required in patients with extensive deep venous vein thrombosis. And because around 12 to 15% of these patients had recurrent upper extremity DVT, and embolization can occur from upper veins or upper limb vein also. These filters are placed at the site, at the confluence of the brachiocephalic veins, but the embolization rate is higher as compared to the inferior vena cava. So this should be remembered because there is a very short segment for placement of filters available in these subgroup patients. So whether we should continue anticoagulation or not after placement of filters, some studies have shown that anticoagulation do not much benefit, but the consensus is most of these patients should be given anticoagulation on follow-up if there is no contraindication to giving anticoagulant therapy, because the recurrence of DVT in these patients is much more common. So when to retrieve the retrievable filters, they should be retrieved before 2 to 3 weeks, because if you retrieve later on, then the chances of IVC injury or due to endothelialization of these filters occurs. Also, before retrieving these filters, one should see the volume of the entrapped thrombus. If the volume of entrapped thrombus is more than 25%, then these filters should not be retrieved. This is a retrievable filter. These are the hooks that are placed in this. With the help of snare, through the sheath, the snare is passed, the hook is caught, and then the filter is retrieved into the sheath and can be easily taken out without any problem. This is another, from the jugular approach, the hook is caught through the snare and into the sheath, the vena cava filter is taken up, and through the jugular approach, the sheath is removed. So most of the times nowadays, one should try and avoid the placement of permanent filters, and if possible use the temporary filters, though the cost is one of the constraints. The complication rate is less than, the fatal complication rate is less than 1% in these subgroup patients, but most of the patients should be continued on anticoagulation if there is no contraindication. These are the world literature on the different types of permanent filters. Most of these studies showed that almost all of these filters are similar in their efficacy, except that the Birdnet filter can be placed in a large size inferior vena cava. So on how should we follow up these patients? These patients should be followed up clinically with the post-thrombotic syndrome and development of DVT. These should be clinically seen. Abdominal, the X-ray should be done to determine whether the filter is well placed, there is no migration of the filters, and then Doppler examination of the inferior vena cava is helpful to locate whether there is development of thrombus there or the extracaval extension of the thrombus is occurring or not. MRI is another useful technique, but not all filters are MRI compatible. These filters are MRI compatible. They do not produce artifacts on the MRI, but these filters like Birdnest filter or Greenfield filter should not be placed, and MRI should not be done in this situation. If you have to do MRI, then Optis filter or Greenfield titanium filter are the better filters of choice. So, to conclude, friends, the indication for permanent inferior vena cava filters are recurrent pulmonary embolism despite the patient being on adequate anticoagulation, or there is a contraindication to anticoagulation therapy, or there is patient develops significant bleeding complications like patient has gastric bleed, patient has intracranial neoplasm, or patient is a polytrauma patient, so they can develop complications during anticoagulation therapy. So these patients should be given vena cava filters. Vena cava filters reduce, but they do not eliminate the risk of pulmonary embolism. Approximately 5% of the patients still develop embolism through the filters, or they develop collaterals. Through the collaterals, the pulmonary embolism may occur. So continue anticoagulation if there is no contraindication in these patients. The removable filters are now used more often, in particular in patients who have temporary contraindication to anticoagulation, like patient with polytrauma, patient with pregnancy, within 2 weeks of delivery, so that these filters can be removed later on, and the development of late phlebitic complication can be prevented. Thank you very much for patient listening.